It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 20th of February in the year of our Lord 2025. Season 15, episode 32, 701 times you have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast, live from various places around the Metroplex. Welcome. We are your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. And 3 of those 4 are going to carry the load tonight. Welcome. My name is Rob, and I can actually wear this sweater for the first time of the season because pitchers and catchers have reported, and it is still hockey season. Shout out to my friend Rachel, who this was a promotional giveaway at a Rough Riders game, and she picked up an extra one. She's like, well, it's XXL. I'm like, that's my size. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. That way for me is my co-host and a man who I get to hang out with tomorrow night. He is Alex.
I am jealous of that sweater, though. That is a really, really sharp sweater because, as we know, if you've gone to minor league baseball, minor league hockey, whatever, the giveaways aren't always top tier, but that one genuinely is.
It is very comfortable. It's not... I venture to say sweater because of the style.
Because it's hockey, sweater is the preferred, but not the required anymore.
From a material standpoint, it does lean towards the jersey side because it's not thick.
Yeah.
But it is very, very comfortable, and it's got the little tie thing, which I like. Mm-hmm. At the bottom of your screen is the official fact checker of Sooner or Gator Productions. And a man who looks like he just got a haircut. You may know him as Zig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
You actually did that, I think, on Friday. Or was it last? No, it was last show right for the week. Right for last week's show, I did it, actually. A week ago.
Wow, fair enough.
Yeah, had to get cut because we had the big, well, look good for the big dinner we had for our church. We went to Maggiano's for Valentine's couples. Did the family style.
Maggiano's good eating right there.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah,
that lasagna.
I did not have a bad thing from there at your wedding reception. So everything was wonderful. But bring your checkbook. All right. We have no real sports to talk about. We do want to send our best to Victor Wembanyama. It was found out today that he is found to have a blood clot in his left shoulder and will be out for the remainder of the season. They've done a really good deep dive on this on Around the Horn today of other players that have dealt with this and things of its nature. Go ahead, Alex.
I saw some reports that said it was his right shoulder. Has it been confirmed as left now?
I thought it was left. It could be right. It's one of his shoulders, but it's got him out for the rest of the season. And
blood clots are not something to play with.
No. I will say this. The All-Star game was for both NHL and NBA were this weekend, which is why we have no sports to talk about because there were so little sports that both Around the Horn and PTI took President's Day off because there's nothing to talk about. So it's
right shoulder.
Okay, so it's the right shoulder. But I was watching some footage today from the NBA All-Star game, and dear God, they were giving the trophy to Kevin Durant. You don't realize how tall that dude is because he is a giant among giants until watch the footage of him getting that trophy, and Steph Curry is off to the left, and he makes Steph Curry look like Vern Troyer. It's insane.
Well, Steph Curry is on the shorter side for the NBA, and Kevin Durant is a near 7-footer.
He just towers over that man.
Yeah.
But right now we are gearing up for the finals of the Four Nation Challenge. USA, Canada.
Okay, that's what they need to change the name to just for that. Actually, you know what? I want you to do it again, but I want you to do Four Nations Face Off. Go.
I'm playing hockey now. Four Nation Face Off is happening now, even though there's only 2. USA, Canada tonight, and they're in Boston. So good luck, Canada.
Yeah.
Beat you 4-1 the first go-round. 4 fights in the first 9 seconds of that game. Got the Kachuk brothers out there getting it done.
Why does it feel like the fact that it's in Boston means that they have to one-up that and have, literally 6 people? Like, the puck drops, centers face off, right wing and left wing face off, defenseman face off, and I want the goalies heading full skate to the middle of the ice.
True 5-on-5.
6.
But yeah, I kind of like what they've done here.
Oh no,
It's a round robin thing. I mean, a lot of people are saying, "Give me this over what the NBA has done."
Absolutely.
There's like nobody cares. Like the NBA, it's like, okay, it's the NBA. And here's Kevin Hart for the next hour and a half.
Don, you look like you wanted to say something.
Well, I just say, it's they're trying to, I think, do like you're saying, make the sports better. You know what I'm saying? And for one thing, like they're trying to expand is like we just found out that we got Faye's favorite football team. I call football, English football. Chelsea's coming back to the U.S. to do 3 games again.
Nice. Do you have locations yet?
Hold on, because if you're going to refer to it as football,
yeah,
then you must refer to them as matches.
I was going to let him slide. I was going to let him slide.
You could be a soccer game, but it has to be a football match.
And it's part of their fixtures coming up.
That is true.
There you go.
But to go back to the important question.
Yeah.
To go back to the important question, do they have locations and dates yet?
Yeah, it's in June. One's going to be back in Atlanta, but the other 2 are going to be June, I think 12th or whatever. But then the 16th, we're looking at Friday, 16th of June. They're playing in, and then the Monday after, they're playing in Philly. So we're thinking about going to, because we've never been to Philly.
So I missed the second one. So you said the first one's in Atlanta. The
didn't give the
second one or the third one?
Second and third are both in
okay,
Philly.
They're both in Philly.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, where the Eagles.
That was a little hard to follow. I wanted to make sure we had that.
Philly's a cool town.
Yeah, I've never been there.
A couple years. It's a cool town.
I like things in Philly. I don't like people in Philly.
Now, have you?
I enjoy the breakfast cheesesteak out there.
Okay, which we will talk about places we have to hit, like you're saying, the
Geno's.
cheesesteak, the
Pat's is
also,
overrated.
we're going to hit, of course.
See, I didn't go to Pat's or Geno's because everybody I talked to was like, "Don't go there."
To which one?
No. You order from Geno's so you don't have to deal with the line.
No, people were saying don't go to either one of them.
The ones that are across the street.
Remember, we were talking about it being the overhyped. That's why I was saying, as somebody who has been to both multiple times, order from Geno's so you don't have to wait.
Okay.
Because Geno's is superior to Pat's, and I will fight on that hill.
We'll
I
talk
wish I
on
could
that.
remember the name of the place I went to multiple times that I very much enjoyed. I think it was called Cleve. It was right behind my hotel, and it was fantastic.
I remember you speaking highly of it, but I don't remember the name. Don, what were you asking?
So, we'll be there for a couple days. We want to do like see the Liberty Bell, Independence Hall, and all that, then go down to the game or to the match. But we're gonna probably think in this downtown area or something like that. They're in that city area. There's a lot of, I don't know. We'll talk about it. I need some advice. We've never been there. And Alex is laughing, and I can't.
I want to send you somewhere, but I can't say it on this show.
No,
okay,
I know where your brain's at, and no,
Rob knows exactly where I'm thinking.
No, do not listen to that man. If he mentions anything about a castle, do not listen to that man.
Oh no! I need Don to film Faith just walking around.
No,
that's it.
No.
Yes.
No, Don.
Okay, Don, we will talk off air.
Who do you trust more?
You should absolutely answer Rob.
Well, all I'm gonna say is on this, to both of you, if we did this, would it hurt Faith in any way? Because Faith is going.
Not
define physically or emotionally or
it would be emotionally damaging to both of you.
Don, we'll talk off air because this is too much indirect conjecture. No. I'm saying just for his information, Rob.
There are 19 people yelling at their televisions or their phones right now. By the way, Patreon.
Do that to Faith, Alex.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. You need to calm down.
And by the way, Patreon, get an Apple TV app so people can watch our show on their televisions.
You know what my favorite part about this is? How we have it set up. It's like Don's at the bottom, Rob is the angel on one shoulder, and I'm dressed in red for the other side.
He's not wrong.
All right. Now we got the travel portion of the show.
We got our travel and the food part done.
Yeah. All right.
Just remember the kingdom.
But now it is time for what, by the way, we'll have everything back on track for NBA and NHL next week. Stuff we watched this week. TV edition. I have a lot, but I'm going to hold off. Alex, go.
I texted you yesterday. I have finished the last season of Cobra Kai. And boy, if you let me posit this. Would either of you gentlemen consider yourselves emotional when it comes to nostalgia that's done really well?
Yes.
Or stories that are done really well?
How deep it goes, but yeah.
So, Don, I didn't text you this, so this is going to be new information, but I texted Rob and I said, why is every episode of the last season making me cry in the best way?
On Cobra Kai? Okay,
On Cobra Kai. It's so many different ways. Now, granted, I appreciated the earlier seasons where they were still finding it out before it got to this, but they definitely, Mighty Ducks 2, the ending of this, but they did a really great job with it.
Okay.
I love
and I cried a lot. Not gonna lie.
In hockey rinks. It's just
amazing. So on ours, it's late to the game, really late to the game, but we thought since the new things coming in, we never watched it, so we gave it a shot, said what the heck, and then we binged the first season within 2 days and are almost done with the second season. Since then is White Lotus.
I am curious to start that. Every ad I see makes me a little bit more curious to watch that.
It's same. I was hoping he was going to say something else.
I'll say that the first season we loved. The second season's kind of not as good, but I see what they're trying to do. But I think if I had to say which one's better, the first season's better. Is season 2 stinky? No, but not as good as the first season. Well, it's because they just started season 3 on Sunday, so we're trying to get caught up to the weekly bit. So,
I thought that was season 2. That shows
no. Season 3 started on. Basically, rich people go and they go to a resort they call the White Lotus. It's kind of like they're filmed at the Four Seasons, trying to make save like Four Seasons in real life, but called White Lotus. And basically, it's a story of a stay of a bunch of different people at this resort that are rich and screwy in the head. And the first one's in Hawaii. Then it's years later at a place in Sicily on season 2. Now this third one's going to be at the fancy resort in Thailand, which just started on Sunday. So
I'm sure they'll get a lot of yardage out of mispronouncing Phuket. Before you go into it, Rob, because we started with him talking about Chelsea and soccer games or football matches and fixtures, I was really hoping he was going to say a different show.
Okay.
I believed he was going to say a different show.
That would have been nice. That would have been nice.
I was so excited.
I do want to say, Alex, the reference you made to me the other day on the phone of you couldn't remember if it was Have I Got News for You or John Oliver.
Mm-hmm.
It was John Oliver.
That's what I figured after we talked.
Got the great one coming out, walking out in the pregame. So, but I was SNL intensive, although Have I Got News for You did come back this week, and they are coming in hot. God bless you.
Oh, yeah.
So Friday night was SNL 50, the homecoming concert. I watched most of this on Saturday. Actually, no, I got all the way through it before Judgment Day.
Okay.
Because
I saw exactly one clip from that, and I howled like an idiot.
Friday was, of course, it was Valentine's Day, so the wife and I were spending some time together. So it was 3 hours without commercials.
Oh, wow.
Homecoming concert. Andy Samberg and Lady Gaga as part
of the one I saw.
The Lonely Island medley. And
the Christmas medley.
The two of them singing in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny. Very much enjoyed that.
Her reaction to him when he said he wasn't going to do it broke me instantly.
On SNL, why are the first show? What was July of 75?
October of 75.
October.
Why would it be July? Because that's the summertime.
Okay, so why are they not doing this in the new season, starting with the big thing when it's actually the 50-year time?
Because this is the 50th season.
Okay,
so they're doing it for all season, basically.
All right. Okay. All right.
They got Lauryn Hill to show up during the show with Wyclef Jean.
Bonus.
Did nothing off of the Miseducation album. It was all Fuji stuff. But they also didn't do my
Unpopular
favorite.
opinion. I like the Fugees better.
They also didn't do my favorite Fuji song though. Ready or Not is a banger.
I honestly, I had the song playing in my head, trying to remember what the actual title was.
Dude, that
'Cause I
video
was
with
like,
them
is
in
it
the
gonna find
submarine
you?
is
No.
so cool. And I see the cover of that album. I always think about how I lost my mind when the New Day had their outfits doing an homage to that album. And
That was
brought me
so
joy.
cool.
Anna Gasteyer was putting in work.
Yeah.
She did a lot on that show. They did her and Will Ferrell as the old couple.
Oh, I did see about this.
And they finished
The
with
song
Not Like
they
Us.
did. Yeah.
It was a medley. And the thing was, this was a Peacock exclusive. So the gloves were off.
Oh, yeah.
It started
he actually said the word that wasn't said during the.
It started with Jimmy Fallon doing Soul Man with a bunch of dancers dressed like the Blues Brothers.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. Because again, it was on Peacock and the gloves are off. Snoop was in all of his Snooposity. Again, introduced by Anna Gasteyer as Martha Stewart. And I mean, Snoop, that dude just lives his best life. I don't care what anybody says. He just came out and did the deal, bro. There was a thing called Post Nirvana where Post Malone called Kurt Novotny and Dave Grohl and Pat Smear and said, if I'm gonna do this, you guys are doing this with me. And they came out and did Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it was dope. Go check out that clip if you haven't. There was also David Byrne was doing work. He did some work with Arcade Fire, and then he did some work with Robin. The tech in this thing was off the chart, and I'm going to give you the best example I can come up with from the show. So, Maya Rudolph comes out. Fred Armisen comes out as Beyonce and Prince, respectively, to do the Prince show. And so he would whisper and she would talk. And then she'd say, Prince would like to say something. And this was not announced. This was a complete surprise guest because I knew there was going to be more than they listed. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Cher. Cher comes out in the If I Could Turn Back Time outfit with a replica, what I thought was a replica of the ship with the gun turrets behind it. Oh, shout out Chantal Kreviazek singing the anthem. And I was like, and absolutely crushed it. And then I realized it was on the video wall. I thought it was a practical set. That's how good it looked. Because I was like, man, they got that set up quickly. And then they cut back to it, and I was like, oh my God, that was just on the video wall.
With the way you were looking like you were ready to pop, I was genuinely expecting a Jay Muse moment of Morris Day and the time.
Oh, no, they did not show. But Cher was great. Miley Cyrus did a couple of numbers with the girl from Alabama Shakes.
Okay.
And then they also played on the actual 50th thing on Sunday. Sorry, I'm still trying to shake this thing.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But it was really, really good. It was really well done. There were a couple of moments where it lulled a little bit. Backstreet Boys, there were some tone issues. But, I mean, of course, the place went in. I mean, Radio City was packed. At one point, because Jimmy Fallon was hosting it, he was in the aisle amongst the crowd. He goes, there was some confusion backstage, and I just want to say we are not handing out any awards tonight. And over his shoulder, you see Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson get up and walk out. And it was so funny seeing the headlines of like, Tom Hanks walks out. I'm like, don't be a jerk.
Know the bit.
Yeah. It's clickbait, morons. And he's like, no, Tom, come back, Tom. It was a really good show. It's on Peacock.
You brought up Grohl's. is doing Teen Spirit? Is there a did he have a beef with that song playing it nowadays, or is he kind of or okay? I thought I might have read something where he has a beef with
If I can summarize that one real quick for you, Don.
Yeah.
That had everything to do with a lawsuit about ownership of the material, not actually playing the material.
Okay.
Real quick, as far as I don't know if you want this and stuff we watched this week, do we want to talk about the President's Day triple header for TGL?
We can, but let me finish.
I apologize. I thought you had finished with SMS.
We haven't even gotten to the anniversary special yet.
I'm not going to say it.
So Saturday night, they played the very first episode, but I've seen that 100 times. What aren't you going to say, Alex?
It's like I don't watch, so I have nothing to base that on.
Okay. No, it's okay. Sunday night was the anniversary special. There was a 1 hour red carpet before it, which was a lot of fun seeing Leslie Jones just mark out on everybody that was on the red carpet. Very cool stuff there. It opened with Sabrina Carpenter and Paul Simon. And Paul Simon said, this song that we're opening up with, I don't know who this is singing the national anthem. I recognize her, but I don't know who it is. He says, I played this song on the third episode of SNL in November of 1975. And Sabrina Carpenter says, I was not alive in 1975, and neither were my parents. And I was like, oh, the pain. Yeah. And I mean, it killed. It got a huge pop. But I was like, you are not very nice, young lady. But it was very, very funny. It was 3.5 hours with commercials.
Did see that. I saw it.
But I actually DVR'd it. I didn't watch it on Peacock because I wanted the live feed of it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched any of the clips at all?
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I watched that episode.
Okay, but Alex, have you seen any clips?
I've seen still images of like maybe 3 things.
So they did Black Jeopardy.
Yep.
That's one of the images I saw.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy playing Tracy Morgan with Tracy Morgan right next to him.
I heard about Tracy Morgan not being able to maintain.
Was in tears. I was laughing.
He played Tracy Morgan better than Tracy Morgan doing Tracy Morgan.
That's the exact headline I saw too.
Yeah.
They brought back Deep Thoughts with Jack Handy.
Nice.
And that brought me joy. Miley Cyrus and the lady from Alabama Shakes did perform on that show as well. They did the Prince version of Nothing Compares to You with the lady from Alabama Shakes playing the Stratocaster, and Miley was in a purple gown. So I'm sure there were some people that were a little confused that doesn't sound like Sinead O'Connor. It wasn't her version. It was the Prince version. Lil Wayne did a medley. And then Paul Simon closed the show. Paul McCartney closed the show out. I thought it was a fun show. There was some really, they did a Q&A thing with the audience where Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were having the celebrities get up and ask questions. Very much enjoyed that. But I thought it was a good show. Looking forward your next 2 episodes of SNL. Let's see. March 1st, Shane Gillis returns with Tate McRae. And March 8th will be Lady Gaga and Lady Gaga. So the Gaga will be the second host this season to do that. Alex.
The woman from Alabama Shakes is named Brittany Howard.
Brittany Howard. Thank you. Yes. So I enjoyed all of it. I really did. All right. Alex wants to talk a little TGL. Apparently Tiger Woods had a little bit of a faux pas.
It wasn't his faux pas, but since we've been on air, I believe we also have to give our condolences to his mother who passed.
I'd forgotten about that. You are correct.
Yes. So if anybody doesn't know, she's the reason he wears red on Sunday, because it's his power color, which is part of his heritage from her background. But focusing on the more positive and what Rob alluded to, so that we're not burying it too far. He asked how far he was off during the match on Tuesday, not President's Day. The person at the TV, which they use for aiming, if you have not watched, it's pretty cool how good that technology is. They turned around and said 99, assuming he'd be able to see it was definitely not within 100 yards. So Tiger proceeded to hit a nice smooth wedge 99 yards, because when you're that good, you can do that, and wound up 100 yards short.
Because he was 199 yards.
Yes.
I saw the reactions of his teammates.
Yes.
Who were just losing it, and he was like, "This is the most embarrassing thing I've ever done."
I'm going to say something. Tiger Woods is the worst part of his team right now from an entertainment standpoint, because Tiger's having fun. He's doing well, but Kisner and Tom Kim are must-watch TV. And not just because Kisner's the one that bladed the shot out of the sand bunker like week 3 that hit the flag, but Tom Kim talking smack with the audience while they talk smack to him while he plays electric golf is amazing. But the TGL filling in the gap since we're post-football and, as Rob mentioned, in a dead zone for sports, decided for President's Day on Monday that they would do a triple header with a match at 1, a match at 3, and a match at 7. And it was amazing. And there is a lot of people who weren't seeing this before who are starting to ask questions of, like, are they going to build a facility in Dallas? Are they going to build a facility in LA? Are they going to build a facility? And every time the answer has been, we'll see. Now, the reason that they built it in Jupiter, we have talked about or alluded to. Of the guys that are in the TGL, well over half of them live in that area with Tiger and Rory, which is, the executive airport section of Jupiter. So,
which is where the headquarters for the PGA used to be before they moved them here.
Correct. But I am very intrigued by the idea of multiple facilities being built around the country. I know of a certain area in Arlington that would be perfect. Jerry has more money than sense. We can get this to work. Anyways, but it was really, really great to see them. And I really want to get you guys' opinion on this, because as respectfully as I can say, you are older and sports fans, so you have a more of a tie to tradition than I believe I might. So one of the big things with the TGL is they had a rule called the hammer, which if one team throws the hammer to, like, throw down the gauntlet to the other team has the opportunity to deny and forfeit the hole, or they can accept it and it becomes a 2-point hole. So it basically just increases the deal. And they noticed they weren't getting a lot of play through the first month. I want to say it was about a month leading into President's Day. So what they did was they changed it to like the NFL timeout rule, and both teams get 3 hammers versus it just sitting with the team that's winning.
Okay.
And it made it really exciting. I still think they could use some adjustments there, but this has been absolutely amazing to watch. Real quick, thank you out to Ticketmaster and SoFi reaching out to see if the person who had been engaging with them on social wanted to go to, or paid for tickets, let's be honest, to go to matches. And yes, I really would. However, Jupiter's way, way over there.
Yeah.
So if we can get it, I really want, and I know that because Tiger and Rory are spearheading this, it's strictly PGA players right now. But please let me GM the Dallas team, because I'm going to tell you right now, Bryson DeChambeau, Max Homa, John Daly. That's my start.
Let's go.
And I'm going to throw Jordan Spieth in there for one of our straight-laced guys, because Dallas. Because I want to be entertaining. I don't even care if my team wins as much, but I can tell you, between John Daly and Bryson DeChambeau, and John Daly may not even wear shoes. That's the best part.
I can think of another place they could put it up this direction too.
Oh, you mean by the Omni?
A lot of land up
Yeah.
here. So,
well, I was actually thinking of just taking over the esports arena that's just
right there.
boxing void. But shout out to TGL. But the question I wanted to ask you guys regarding the tradition is, how do you feel about a sport literally changing the rules like halfway through its first season?
For this thing, I'm okay with it, because they're experimenting. They're trying to see what works.
Yeah.
And
Don?
it's not, there's not a ton on the line.
I would say, me personally, I would wait till the season's over and learn from the first season on anything like that.
That's what I was thinking as well, but I also liked that they waited until everybody basically had their mid-season stop almost when they got to this. So everybody had an even playing field. There was no extra match under the new rules for anybody. So I do give them credit there, but I really dig how this is going. And what I really like about this is I think that people who aren't interested in golf or don't care to sit down and watch for as long as it exists, TGL is the perfect medium for them. And it is so much fun. I really hope we can get X Golf getting some of their whole layouts because it's insane.
In a 30-second thing, what's the difference between like regular golf and TGL? What's the big difference?
TGL is on a giant simulator, uses crazy new technology, as well as creating a sport atmosphere. One of the best ways I ever heard it out, shout out to Brad Dalkey on Good Golf, local guys to Frisco, that said it best. It doesn't feel as much like playing golf as much as you're playing a sport based on golf.
Okay.
When they got to do an actual YouTubers match, because the idea is you're trying to outmaneuver, whereas with traditional golf, it takes a long time, a lot of focus, and your goal is to just be better. Okay. Whereas with TGL, it adds sport level and planning. Rob,
if they have any stones, the championship match will be a certain course from X Golf.
See, that's one of the things I would love, but to TGL's credit, all of their holes are their own designs. They don't exist anywhere else in the world. But I would love to see them play on Pirates Island.
Feel my pain, TGL.
Oh, come on. Tell me you don't want to see like Rory McIlroy, one of the greatest players of all time, line up, just drill a perfect 340-yard drive, only to have the drummer boy knock it 200 yards back at him.
Smacked back from a banana. You heard me.
But like it's really, really. And Don, do you have ESPN Plus?
Plus, just regular ESPN and all that.
Okay. You might actually be able to get it on ESPN Plus because you don't. To have ESPN Plus, I don't believe you have to have a paid account, but you would be limited on what you'd be able to see. Okay. I highly recommend it for anybody that hasn't checked it out. It is. Think about all of the cool parts of golf that you enjoy, or the skill that goes in, level of skill that goes into it. Now put it in a video game, shake it up in a blender. Then turn the blender on, and then dump it out and bake it to perfect goodness. That's TGL.
And I think he needs to go in cold when they get to the putting. I don't want to tell him how they do the greens. He needs to see that.
Game.
I want to be there if that's the case. If we're just going to spring it on him, I want to be there when he sees. I don't even want to run a match. I want to run that tech video I sent you to him.
By the way, Nathan McKinnon scores. The CND is up 1-0. Let's go into TV news. ABC has renewed Tamron Hall's talk show for season 7. Didn't realize she'd been on that show that long. And I'd forgotten that ABC now has 911. They're doing a crossover with Joshua Jackson's show, Dr. Odyssey, on March 20th, where he's a doctor.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, so the big ship.
They're doing a crossover with 911.
And we tried the Dr. Odyssey, watched 1 or 2 episodes. It just didn't. I didn't see the big thing.
You want to feel old? Realize that's Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek.
Oh, and you want to see how bad they're speed running this? Look at the ads for their big event that's coming up, where it's literally jumping sharks.
And your next 911 spinoff will take place in Nashville, so they're going to try that again.
Okay. So, that makes sense.
They did Austin, and that didn't work too well. Or Lone Star. Yeah.
CBS has said that Donnie Wahlberg is going to take his Blue Bloods character to Boston for a spinoff called Boston Blue.
Because they're tired of him not being able to do a New York accent.
Yeah. They've renewed Ghosts for 2 more seasons. They're getting season 5 and season 6.
Okay.
My wife for that show.
Remind me, did Ghosts start off here or UK?
My God, that I've been watching that since the beginning. Like,
there's just a lot going on just now.
Okay.
It started in the UK, Alex.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure because this is their new version of The Office. Basically.
Yeah, I think it went 3 series in the UK because my wife has watched both. Let's see. Other shows that CBS has renewed: Tracker, which my wife is kind of in and out on. Fire Country, which she very much enjoys.
Mhm.
All of your current NCISs. So the Mothership, Origins, and Sydney. George and Mandy's First Marriage, Elsbeth, and Their New Hollywood Squares has been renewed, which I've heard is pretty good.
Okay.
Hosted by the Drew Barrymore.
Nice.
She did a great sketch on the SNL 50 where they were in a bar and the bartender was Debbie Downer.
Oh no.
Don, what did you think of that sketch?
I like the Debbie Downer part.
At one point, De Niro walks in.
Oh, yeah.
And he walks into the bar and he says, I'd like a drink. And she's like, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? He's like, you making fun of me? She's like, no, I have an eye disease and I can't see you. Are you talking to me? And then she said something like that set him off and he went to choke her. They're like, no, Bobby. Let's see. Fox.
It took a while to get that taxi driver thing on that, to get the thing at the beginning. It took a minute.
Fox has renewed the Jennifer Hudson show for a 4th season. So you got that going for you. HBO Max has renewed The Pit for season 2. This is the show with Noah Wyle, which I will not hate on because it is allegedly filmed at one of the facilities that is affiliated with my company.
Nice.
We have a facility that's used, it's not only an active facility, but it's used for other things. Allegedly, one of the exam rooms that they don't use anymore was used for a scene in Stranger Things season 2. So, and a lot of people in the industry are saying this is the closest to the way things actually go in an ER. And it's in real time, which I think is cool.
Real?
Yeah, the whole season takes place over one shift.
You said it's on Max, right?
It's on Max, yes, sir.
Okay.
They have canceled Bookie after 2 seasons.
I wanted to like that because my degeneracy, but I couldn't even get started.
Season 2 of The Last of Us officially, we knew it was in April, but we now have a date, April 13th. That is a Sunday. And season 4 of Industry will feature one Max Minghella. Hulu has renewed the Sterling K. Brown Paradise for season 2.
Okay.
And
has that even started?
Yeah.
I thought that was still leading up.
And ABC is going to start showing season 1 in April. So if you don't have Hulu, you can still check it out. Let's see. NBC Peacock, they've renewed the Reba McEntire Happy's Place for season 2.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
It's Reba. She's the queen. She can do what you want. Apparently, she has a restaurant in Tulsa where you can sit in a replica of her chair from The Voice. I've had friends that have taken their pictures in it.
That's cool.
Netflix has renewed XO, Kitty for season 3. And they're turning now, Don, did you see Extraction with Chris Hemsworth? Did you see either one of those? Because there's 2 of them. Alex has.
What's that one about?
It's it's an action film.
Think of it as in the vein of a Mercenaries Black Hawk Down, but it's more of getting an asset out rather than recovery.
Let me IMDb it real fast.
They're turning it into a series, but not with Chris Hemsworth.
It's with Liam Hemsworth.
It's actually with Omar Sy.
Oh, okay. I endorse that. Omar Sy is badass.
Yeah, because I saw the headline. I was like, oh. And then I saw it. I was like, ooh.
See, I was making the low-hanging fruit of everybody getting mad about Liam Hemsworth having a different Netflix show.
Nickelodeon has picked up the follow-up to Avatar: The Last Airbender. It is called Avatar 7 Havens.
Okay.
Paramount Plus has announced this week that part 2 of season 5 of Yellowstone will begin March the 16th.
Okay.
That could be going up against the tournament.
Yeah, it will. Because that starts on the 19th.
Yeah.
And second part of season 5?
Yep.
Yes.
I thought how they ended the last.
Well, remember that this
what
is
the answer? What is the answer to all of your questions?
Yeah, and the thing, I thought that was the last season. That was
no. So everything was saying it was the last season. We had talked about the fact that they have made plans to continue on with certain personnel.
Yeah, I'll have to wait.
Yeah, just we'll put a pin in that one. We'll find out together.
Crossovers from that, by the way, check out this last week's episode of Matinee Heroes where I guessed it and we talked about Dazed and Confused. I did not realize until doing my research that one of the nicest of the bullies is actually Rip on Yellowstone.
Yep. And he's full-blown ginger.
Yeah. And we actually have PBS news this week. They have renewed Miss Scarlet for season 6, but Felix Scott will not be returning as Patrick Nash. His character was sent to Australia to do work because he was trying to avoid prison. So it's apparently a very popular show on the PBS. TV on DVD and Blu-ray this coming Tuesday. Doctor Who, the Sylvester McCoy Complete Season 2. That's back in my day when I watched Doctor Who when it was on PBS. Documentary Now, the complete series. If you have not seen this was an IFC series where I always forget his name. He played he was on SNL. He played Vincent Price. Oh, jeez.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, me neither.
Bill Hader. Bill Hader
played Vincent Price?
Yeah.
I know that.
It was very funny. But he and some of his friends were reenacting documentaries, and that's what Documentary Now ! Is.
Oh, Helen Mirren's the host.
Yeah. Jane the Virgin, the complete series, and Collection 2 of MXC, Alex.
The best, worst show ever.
I love that show so much.
Did I ever tell you why that is such a crazy note for me?
We have talked about it before. Because we talked about it.
Because I watched the original before MXC was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Takeshi's Castle. Yeah.
And now it's time for Stuff We Watched This Week. Movie edition. I did not watch any movies this week. So, although I got a couple in the mail, I'm very excited.
Don, do you want to jump in?
Well, since we were doing mostly the White Lotus, I didn't really get into movies, but I did see one, which was the old one from 2009 with Ving Rhames called The Tournament, where these hitmen get into like a tournament, like a Hunger Games kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, from 2009, so it's an older one. But
The Tournament?
The Tournament, yeah. Yeah, something like basically they do like put tournaments and they know they're in there and they put it, there's a big cash prize where all these assassins are put into a city, in real life city, and boom, 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 and they basically the last one wins gets the big cash prize, and then
I've seen another version of this that was from UK.
Yeah,
Ving Rhames, Robert Carlyle, Kelly Hu, Liam Cunningham, Craig Conway, John Lynch, Rachel Grant, Scott Adkins.
Yeah.
Directed by Scott Mann, who did the movie Fall a couple of years ago. He did Heist in 2015. You know what? Where did you watch this, Don? I'm very interested.
It was like on either, I think, Showtime or something.
It's on Stars. It's on the Stars app.
On Stars, okay, yeah. It was on one of the movie channels we have. I was kind of going through and I go, that seemed interesting. And they have to kill all the other people within 24 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think you need to watch. That I think that would be a good double feature to do with the movie Jackpot with Awkwafina and
I have another one.
By the way,
another one in mind, but I have to look it up because it's similar to The Tournament, but they made it in the UK like 15 years ago, and it was all these hired killers that wound up in a Russian roulette tournament that they didn't realize right off the bat.
Okay.
Did you see the new John Cena action figure yet that Mattel just released?
You mean the one that you can't really see?
Yep, the clear one.
Yeah. So since we last were on air, I think I actually have 3 movies somehow in all of this. Did I mention The Gorge to either of you?
Yes, you did.
It is not what I expected at all and was still good. Usually I get frustrated by that, but allow me to say, I thought it was weird to have a movie about 2 snipers, that's in the trailer, that's not spoiler, be released on Valentine's Day, but it was adorable.
You know what else
Which
was
is not a word I was expecting to use. What?
You know what else was once released on Valentine's Day?
a number of things.
Silence of the Lambs.
But what I'm
How do you
saying
know
is,
that?
Well, he was probably working at the theater at the time.
Working at the theater.
Yeah. Which is how all of those stories end, Don.
Where'd you find out? Where'd you watch that for Gorge yet?
It's on Apple TV, the same place where you would watch Ted Lasso if you had it.
Okay.
Anyways.
I know.
I couldn't do it.
I know.
Wow,
I knew that was coming. That's why you bring up Chelsea and all that. I know I'm disappointed. Yeah, I know.
The other one is I finally watched Nosferatu, like in-depth Nosferatu. And I will say this. It is one of those movies that is always entertaining when Sean and I try to watch it because she was snoring before the first hour ended.
Oh, wow.
What a shocker.
And I loved it. It was brilliantly done, but it's one of those you have to pay attention to every single moment in minute detail. It is visually amazing. But along with The Gorge, I have 2 2025 movies on my list already. The other one, Den of Thieves 2 Pantera.
Oh.
It is not as good as the first one. Because you don't have the shootout and shock. It feels like it's just as quality of a movie as the first one, but it's got real pacing issues. I loved it, but it doesn't hold a candle to the first one that knew how to get that thriller to action aspect, where Pantera is mostly just suspense. So it'll start with some action, whole long time of suspense, and then some action at the end. And it's really, really good. I'm so glad they're making a third.
And the third one is in development.
Where did you see where'd you see the second one at? Part 2? At theater?
Prime Video.
Oh, it's on Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably rental at this point still.
Right? I believe it is still rental, but
okay. All right.
I'm trying to remember who Gerard Butler's deal is with, whether it's Universal or somebody else.
Probably, if it's on Prime, it's probably MGM.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was when it would become available to stream without paying for it, whether it would be on Peacock or Max or because I don't know who G-Base is signed with, because I remember every studio looking at it and going, sure, Jerry, just go make whatever you want. And he's had a few hits off of G-Base, so...
Well, speaking of Amazon, it was announced today they have officially taken over all of the rights to the Bond franchise.
Mm-hmm.
The Broccolis are backing away, and a lot of people are losing their minds. It's like, let's take a wait and see.
Yeah.
See what they do. It's not the first time that people have experimented. There was a young James Bond animated series, for God's sake. Just everybody be cool. All right.
Now, to also clarify, Amazon does put out a lot of movies, but they've put out some really quality ones. So, as Rob said, tap the brakes. If you really think that they're going to ruin the franchise, I suggest you go watch something like Air and realize they do know some people that know what they're doing.
Reacher.
I was going to let that go because it was a TV show.
And it's the third season started. Look what they did with Jack Ryan. Okay. And you're getting a movie with that too.
Yep.
Like, it's not the end. The sky is not falling, people. Let's just find out.
There's plenty of other things for you to legitimately complain about. This is stupid.
Yeah. Plus, they were the first ones to have all of the films in 4K.
So true.
Shout out to the BAFTAs with Conclave taking 4 awards home, including Best Picture.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I didn't catch that.
Yep.
I just love the movie.
Let's go. We have more casting for Masters of the Universe.
Oh, no, I know this one.
John Zhu Zhang from The Brothers' Son is Ram Man. Sashir Zamata, formerly of SNL, is Susie. I don't know who the heck that's supposed to be. And Christian Vunapola from Queen Pins is Hussein.
Ooh.
Odd name for a character.
I'm wondering if this is going to be that our world set up the way the original movie was.
Well, I've seen pictures from the set, and the guy playing Prince Adam, he's in our world. He's wearing like a pink button-down shirt, and he's being arrested.
Mm.
So, and also Cynthia Erivo will be hosting the Tonys this year.
Excellent choice.
And
Very timely.
She is also going to be playing the Jesus at the Hollywood Bowl in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Interesting.
I personally have no issue with this.
No, I mean, it's one of those where it's like you want talent when it comes to the bowl, but she's as talented as anybody right now for that.
So, movie new releases and places you get movie new releases this week. A movie that has one of the best taglines I've seen in years. The Monkey, whose tagline is "Everybody's dies, and that's up."
Okay.
When twin brothers Bill and Hal find their father's old monkey toy in the attic, a series of gruesome deaths start. The siblings decide to throw the toy away and move on with their lives, growing apart over the years. Based on a Stephen King story.
Just to remind everybody, this is not based on Monkey Shine.
Yeah, not the same.
Okay.
So June Diane Raphael should be okay.
We'll see.
Also this week, a movie called Cleaner with Daisy Ridley and Clive Owen. Criminal activities, activists hijack a gala taking 300 hostages. One extremist plans mass murder as a message to the world. An ex-soldier turned window cleaner now works to rescue the hostages. This is directed by Martin Campbell.
Ooh. Okay. That's a triumvirate that gets an autoplay.
We also have The Unbreakable Boy this week. A young boy with a rare brittle bone disease and autism, but what makes him truly unique is his joyous, funny, life-affirming worldview that transforms and unites everyone around him. Zach Levi, Megan Fahey, and Jacob Laval in this one. We have ex-husbands. We have a Griffin Dunn sighting, everybody.
Oh, wow.
Griffin Dunn, Rosanna Arquette, and Richard Benjamin. When Peter Pierce flies to Tulum, crashing his son Nick's bachelor party, Peter realizes he's not the only Pierce man in crisis. It's called Ex-Husbands. And also this week, Unbroken. One word, capital U, capital B. This is a documentary. Basically, this deals with a survivor of the Holocaust and answering questions from people.
Ooh, this is going to get heavy.
Yeah.
Important.
Do what?
But it's important.
Yes. Movies on DVD and Blu-ray. Your 4K releases this week. You're getting Amadeus in 4K. If you remember the movie Body Parts, that's getting a 4K release. Cruising with Al Pacino. The Forbidden Kingdom is getting a steelbook and 4K. Looking for Mr. Goodbar from the 60s. The Macaulay Culkin My Girl. Stephen King's Graveyard Shift and Virtuosity. Ugh.
How dare you? I love Virtuosity. I do not care what anybody says. This is one of the ones. Remember when we were talking about the project of defend yourself on bad movies you love? Virtuosity was right on the list with Hudson Hawk.
Let's see. Criterion Collection this week. Kronos and a movie called Performance starring Mick Jagger.
Interesting.
Very controversial from 1970. I do want to send a quick shout out before we move to the other side of the coin to AT&T. Last Friday, we lost power in the middle of the day.
Oh, wow.
And when we lost power, we lost internet. Like, I tried to use apps, couldn't. My wife couldn't get on the internet on her phone, but our phones worked, but we couldn't do anything with apps. So everything was down for like 4 hours. So I was pretty much done for the day, but I got stir crazy because there was literally nothing I could do. We had no lights. I had nothing. There's no, So I just went for a walk and my phone was working fine. It turns out we did lose internet at the same time we lost power, and AT&T unprovoked gave us a credit for 1 day's worth of internet service. That's part of their new AT&T guarantee.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Shout out to that. And now this. It is time for the Chief Popcast, your one-stop shop for all things pertaining to the world of professional wrestling. A very interesting headline hit today. TKO, who owns WWE and UFC, have bought the rights to Lucha Underground and are planning a revival.
I wonder what could have prompted that.
You know what? I never got to watch Lucha Underground because I never had a cable system that had El Rey. Yeah. So I might go back and start, because there's a lot of people that were in that thing that a lot of people don't realize.
I want to clarify. I watched Lucha Underground.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take you in the Wayback Machine because it's the only way I've ever been able to do it. Picture the craziest high-flying stuff you've ever seen in a lucha match. And add a telenovela between things.
Yeah, it's basically what it is.
It was awesome. It was incredible.
So.
It was the first place I saw Penta. And that was also where I discovered Penta Oscura, and God, do I want that mask. But Angelico, Rey Mysterio was the big star to begin. You had Io Sky's first American matches. You
Selena
had Chelsea Green, Selena De La Renta. The big ones was where Brian Cage first started taking care of himself and came out like gargantuan. And it happens to be the best work, in my opinion, of Jeff Cobb's career as the Monster Matanza. I highly recommend it.
TNA headlines: Unbreakable will be April 17th at the Cox Pavilion in Vegas. So right before all the Mania stuff starts, they'll be doing their show at UNLV. They're actually live tonight. And they're doing it from Full Sail University.
We had briefly talked about this. Could you reiterate what the timing is on that show?
It's the 17th, which would be that Wednesday.
Yes, I am trying to look. So the 17th, yes, it is running exactly at the same time as Bloodsport will be at the Palms. So I won't be there.
And in story from last week's episode, Nick Nemeth accidentally super kicked Santino into oblivion and is now suspended for 4 weeks. WWE news. Your next Hall of Fame inductee has been announced. It is the Michelle McCool. Rumors of your next ones to be announced being Demolition, as they have signed a Legends deal.
I hope so. Demolition absolutely deserves it.
Oh, yeah, they do.
But here's my question for you guys. Do you do the original Demolition or do you do all members?
Well, how many were there? 3 at
All of
least,
them.
right?
4.
Okay.
Technically 5 if you include, did Ellering ever have Demolition or just Mr. Fuji?
It was just Mr. Fuji. Ellering.
Okay, so technically that would be 5, wouldn't it?
Well, if you include him, yes.
Yeah. It's Mr. Fuji. I think I would want him included.
Fuji Vice.
So if they go in, what about the guy who played Repo Man too? Should he be in also?
He was an original member of Demolition.
Should he be in twice as Repo Man and also?
I don't believe Repo Man is in.
Do you think he should be also in as Repo Man?
Oh, God, no.
Being as Barry Darso is fine by me. All right, boys, we have new titles.
I won't even ask.
I'm going to show them to you.
Okay, let's see.
These are your brand new.
Should we put an allegedly on this?
Oh no, these are happening because I've got the pictures got Triple H's hands on them.
Oh, it's been confirmed. Okay.
Don,
I haven't seen anything confirmed, that's why.
These are screen scan. What? Click share. Share screen. This one. Share. There we go. These are your WWE ID championships, Don.
ID?
These are part of the ID program where they have selected people on the indies that they will be mentoring and watching towards a WWE career.
Think of a Legends deal without being a legend, but they kind of get first right of refusal on signing them if they go to a competitor.
Remind me not to buy it.
Not a fan of these titles at all.
It's just getting the logo out there at this point. It's something to see on the indie so that they can claim their foothold. I don't really care. I already think there's too many belts and too many companies. Let me know what you're going to do with the Evolve belt. That's what I want to know.
That kicks off in a couple of weeks. My thing with ID, like the guy that Booker T picked from ROW, I saw because he had his ID match on Reality of Wrestling this past weekend. Very generic promo style. Like,
but isn't that kind of the point though? You're getting people that are not there yet.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Congratulations, Zoe Stark is your new number 1 contender for the Women's Speed Championship.
Forgot that was a thing. Don't
goal,
care.
goal, 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 goal. 1-1. Goldberg says his retirement match will be sometime this summer. He announced that on his podcast.
To borrow Don's phrase, remind me not to watch.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this next piece may be something you might be interested, Alex. Do you like the Universal Studios?
I do.
Do you like the Halloween Horror Nights?
I am a fan.
Do you like the professional wrestling?
Always.
The Wyatt Six will be getting a attraction at Universal Halloween Horror Nights this year.
I saw it's to be a rebranding of one of the houses. Yes.
Thoughts?
You know what? It makes sense. I dig it. It's because they have so many houses that they do every year. It makes sense to latch on to something like the Wyatt Six, to have something that is current, is on TV, in people's purview, because interestingly enough, we haven't had a ton of stuff for them to pull off of. But when you think about it, Universal, Peacock, where the police still are, there's a very easy bridge.
And they're on SmackDown now.
Yep.
So, a couple of SmackDown notes.
Nope. Don, what was that? You lean forward.
As a ride and stuff, that
it's just a haunted house, Don.
It's not a ride.
Haunted house, but still kind of. So let's say they break up as a thing 6 months from now, or they write them off into different things. That's still going to be the White House for how many years, before they rename it?
They do it for like a month every year.
Yeah, they recycle every year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not a permanent fixture.
Okay.
It's just for the Halloween season.
Okay.
That's why it's called Horror Nights, because it's a limited time thing. Kind of like what they do at Six Flags here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right fast, same thing.
No, I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Vic Joseph, for saying Los Garzas. I appreciate that very much. And Mellow Don't Miz. That happened.
I laughed very, very much.
I was just like, as someone who can appreciate a dad joke, as I have many, many times, even on this show, that would make me groan.
Mellow is just whatever is missing away from being in a big program. If this stupid pun is something that gets him to a big program, I'm all for it. Because there are very few people on the planet who goes like him in the ring, but you need something to push him up to that next level.
And Miz is a guy that can help with that, because he's done it many times.
Every time the IC title looks like it's floundering, they put it on the Miz and it bumps right back up.
And shout out to Kroger for having their buy 2 get 1 on 12 packs of soda and having the mug zero sugar in stock. From Raw, we got our first look at this year's WrestleMania belt. Looking pretty sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Liked it a lot. Wouldn't own it, but looked pretty good.
Cost-wise.
Cole called Carlito Carly. That made me giggle.
I'm sorry. The unscripted moment of him in the back is the funniest thing I've seen in months. Where it was like, okay, and Raquel just pushes him. All right.
When they showed the footage of Bayley from the All-Star game, and it said Bayley WWE legend, I'm not quite there yet.
I'll give it to her.
Not yet.
Someday, just too early to call her that.
Well,
Will she be a
there's
Hall of Famer? Yes.
I think the bigger argument there is what the qualifier to a legend is. And the only thing I think she might be missing is a time frame aspect.
That's my point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She will
be
get
in the
there.
Hall of
Don't
Fame.
get me wrong, but she ain't right now.
She will be in the Hall of Fame. She's a Grand Slammer, all that. And then
The
after
first.
she retires 10 years from now, they'll call her a legend.
Mhm.
You know, that like Trish or whatever they're calling her a legend now and all that since they're retired now. But they'll be, you know, someday.
Well, Trish she has a match at Elimination Chamber.
Well, yeah, I get the point though, but they still call her a legend.
It's going to be Trishy time.
Oh God, no.
Trishy time.
That one I groaned at. That one I groaned at very heartily. Question. Before I say anything else, do you have a Chad Gable note in the run sheet?
I do not.
Okay, so whenever we wrap WWE, let me know I got something.
A couple of weeks ago, we talked about, are they turning, I forgot Mark's last name, from
Davis.
Mark Davis, we're turning him to Wheeler Yuta. I'm seeing the same thing as now Karrion Kross going to be Sean Spears.
Honestly, I wonder, and allow me to give you a multi-level on this. What if Shane Spears?
I'm sorry, I just had a thought. I'm gonna put a pin in it because we're gonna come back to it.
Okay, I was gonna say, what if Sean Spears is the one training up for Karrion's disciples? But go for it.
I got to put a pin in it because we got to get there. I just kind of answered my own question that's going to come up here in a little while.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about your Gable thing now since we're talking about Raw?
That's what I was hoping for before we got too far away from it. We have strong indication of who Chad Gable was sent to by Dominic Mysterio. This could be a spoiler, so I am speaking very slowly and purposefully in case anybody wants to take a break in
3, 2.
So the very key point that was made was learning the dark arts of Lucha Libre. There happens to be somebody who is expected to reappear with the company whose gym they own with their very lucha-friendly wife called the Dark Arts Gym. Now, we don't know which A or M before the last name of Black it will be, but every indication is that Alistair/Malachi Black will be your teacher of dark arts for Chad Gable.
Okay. I'm interested. You have my attention.
It gets Alistair Black back where he belongs. I'm excited.
Vengeance Day was
is he WWE bound for sure, do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if you can say for sure because crazier things have happened, but it's one of those where I'd be willing to bet a lot of money on it.
There's somewhere else I'd like to see him, though.
See who?
Alistair Black.
Go on.
I want him on SmackDown. Number one, that he can hang out with his wife. But number two, have him in a stable take on the Wyatt Six.
Interestingly enough, I wonder if there's going to be some level of that where it's more along the lines of him playing his own mind games with the Wyatt Six by himself.
Well, I mean, you could put his wife with him, and then you've got the foil for Nikki Cross. If you're
but I think we already have her earmarked for somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
If he goes to WWE, I understand his wife's there and stuff like that. Why else do you think that he jumped ship? Do you think the thing with him with the House of Black was
didn't jump ship? His contract ran out. He did not renew.
I mean, why did he not renew and go to the competition?
Alex,
you go, yeah.
I want you to think about how big of a star Alistair Black was in NXT to being the absolute destruction of other wrestlers and how well booked he was. That was under Triple H, who sees gigantic dollar signs and hears nothing but cash registers, and he's not wrong. So why would he not go back to the guy to where he has A, always wanted to perform, B, to work for the guy who thought the highest of him, and C, to be with his friends and family.
And my only thing is that, he got up to the high roster, but then he kind of his career.
Yeah, but that was a Vince thing.
Okay.
That was okay, so in the Wayback Machine on that one.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman was running Raw at the time, and Bischoff was running SmackDown during that weird pandemic era.
Yeah.
The Pauls tend to think alike, so Heyman wanted Aleister Black on Raw to use him as a new talent, because even Paul Heyman made the statement he would have Aleister Black at some point go on to main event WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. That was a direct quote from Paul Heyman. And Triple H loved the idea. So why wouldn't you? And plus, give me Aleister Black versus Gunther tomorrow.
I'd like to make a non sequitur, please.
Go on.
Hashtag Mark Messier for Magneto.
No.
Vengeance Day was a thing, and new North American champion of the women's division, and one Stephanie Vaquer.
Future Mrs. Mrs. Barnhill. Just saying.
Let's talk about this new faction of Dion Lennox, Saquon Sugars, Cutler James, and Osiris Griffin. I have a couple of questions. One of them I answered to myself just a moment ago. First and foremost, they need a mouthpiece. Let that mouthpiece be Malachi Black.
You want me to give you a different idea?
Go ahead.
Keep Aleister Black separate from that. Let Malcolm Bivens be their mouthpiece.
Isn't he still in AEW?
I don't know that he's even under contract anymore.
Okay.
Because he's not been used for anything in God knows how long.
And this does feel a bit like Aces and Eights, so should there be a TNA contingent?
I could roll with that, because let me just say, the rollout that they used at Vengeance Day, the crowd told you exactly how well it went with "Who Are You?" as the chant.
Who are you? To NXT this week. Well, Moose showed up on WWE programming,
which you have been calling for.
Well, not for a while. I did for a moment.
You had been calling for it. That is a fact.
Yes.
And this Hoss fight, yep.
I did like the comparison that Moose put on X-Twitter between the two of them.
I didn't see this.
They're both Nigerian.
Okay, I was gonna.
They both have belts that have X's on them.
That is also fair. But I was wondering if he was going to highlight their, let's call it, demographic journey.
I think that was part of, there was 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
The first one was they were both Nigerian. The fourth one was they both have belts with X's on them. Mm-hmm. And Moose has gotten better.
Yeah.
But
still, it's a contest between him and Lashley for who has the worst spear in wrestling to me.
Ricky Starks is now Ricky Saints, so adjust your roster accordingly.
That's not as bad of a name. That's not as bad of a switch, though.
Yeah, but we all know who he is.
But they can lean into that without having to worry about the branding.
Yeah, and we're going to see where that goes. So, AEW Double or Nothing will be May 25th, not in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It will be at the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona.
Okay.
I liked that place that they had Dynamite in last week.
Did you notice that we had a friend of the show working security during that first segment?
I did not.
That was Kevin behind Hangman.
That was a great facility.
Yeah, no, and they did a really great job.
Similar in Chicago coming up. I'm very excited about the MGM Theater, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Grand Slam Australia was a thing.
Mm.
Keep that entryway. I love that entryway because I think that entryway is the perfect mix of what Alex likes and what I like, because you didn't have the tunnels.
Yes.
But you had heels and faces coming out from either side.
Yes. I am fully endorsing that, because the tunnels have ran beyond their scope.
I love Kenny Omega's new entrance. It's a different song and everything now.
No. That's the
original
song.
Right, but
I don't like that new song. I do. I like.
No. It's not a new song. It's the same song. They're starting it at a different point. So instead of having the quiet intro, it just jumps into the
Alex,
song.
Have you gone back to look at the New Day's entrance yet?
I have, but I don't recognize it.
It looks cool.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It plays well with the music, but I don't know what the reference is. I would be guessing purely.
Buddy Matthews injured his ankle.
That's kind of a joke, though.
But I mean, his wife got to be there. They got
Yeah.
to have their honeymoon.
But did you see how he allegedly injured his ankle?
I read about it the next day.
So she wore the vest as a tribute to him. He did and has a couple of times did the stomp, the brutality stomp, and hit the gap between the pads.
Oh dear.
And rolled his ankle before the match started.
Hashtag in new women's world's champion. And can I just say, as we get into Dynamite, Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about a promo? That promo last night was world class. Top tier, baby.
The fact that she constantly brings in Wendy Richter kills me.
And just a blatant plug right in the middle of it for the Mildred Burke movie.
Don, you're on the show. You can't plug your ears and pretend like we're spoiling things.
Why?
I don't want to hear what spoiler. I'm not.
It's not a spoiler. She cut a promo, Don, and it's a great promo.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I want to see it when it happens. So
it happened last night.
When I watch it.
Oh, okay.
I've watched it yet.
Does Hook get a sponsorship from Carl's Jr. or Hardee's?
I don't know, but I remember the same conversation about the
on the back of his trunks. It looks like
no. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's actually like a jack-o'-lantern,
but it's a star and it's got a face in the middle of it.
Right, but the star is in the eyes.
I'm just saying,
it's a Red Hook thing.
The chant of meat forever made me giggle.
Oh, okay. Also, the booking of the end of that match.
We can't talk about it because Don hasn't watched it.
I'm not going to say specifically what happened. Okay, now I'm good. But the way that they booked it to protect Big Bill while giving Hobbs the win, I was great with that.
It wasn't shot well, though.
It was shot terribly.
Yeah.
And that the finishing maneuver was not great, but how they told the story because Bill was stuck, I really appreciated.
You're good.
Okay.
Speaking of Big Bill,
mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor aired Global Wars on Monday, and you and I talked about this the other day.
Yes, we did.
How over is that man in Australia? Tried everything he could to get heel heat and couldn't do it.
Technically, when you're 7 feet tall, you're over a whole lot of things.
Well, you can't teach that.
Nope.
And did you see who Bandito had as his partners for the 6-man on that night?
I'm sorry. I can't even say the name.
Los
Outrunners.
Yes. I loved it so much.
And the full masks and everything.
Oh,
it was brilliant.
Oh, it was beautiful. That show didn't need to be an hour and a half.
No, not at all.
And tonight's episode was actually taped last night, so it's not like a week later at least. And they've already taped Collision, which I'm not sure. Am I missing something that's going on this weekend?
I just genuinely think that they're giving up on the live shows.
Because I don't think that there's anything that was, I don't know, that was just weird to me.
No, all you have is the return to hockey and basketball, so maybe there's just some kind of press for that.
Yeah, but
pun intended.
But you'd still, I don't know. I just work here.
We're looking for logic, but
you're not. Anything else you boys want to talk about? All right, let's do the plugs. There's a QR code over there. You should scan it.
And this still isn't correct, is it?
No, you're pointing right at it.
Here for me, or is
no? You had it right the first time.
Oh, this is.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We had a discussion. I thought it was backwards.
No, you got it. You get all of our social medias from there. You can follow me on your social medias if you like. Everything is yes, that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I am Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Popcast. If you don't want to type, you can get that link right here with that QR code. But we got a lot of different shirt designs and a lot of different color options within those designs. If you're an artist and you have something to contribute or even just a suggestion on a design you'd like to see, you contribute the artwork, you get 100% of the proceeds of any shirt sold with your art on it. And you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com for any of those details.
And that URL to get those awesome shirts that make even me look good. ProWrestlingTees.com/Chief Podcast. At Twitter, I'm at Moonu, IGBNUUU. If you want to smash your place, email me, Clubhousepodcast.com.
Speaking of which, what's happening? Breaking news. March 8th, Garland, Texas. Get ready because the boys are coming your way a little earlier than normal this year. Doesn't mean we're not going to be doing Real Owl because we're going to be there. The Bankhead Film Festival, downtown Garland, Texas, March 8th. We will be broadcasting live. We will be judging films, and we're very much looking forward to it. Come hang out with us. March 8th in Garland. Also, we're going to have some links up on our social media for Sunset Lounge DFW is helping raise funds for the Garland High School Film Department, selling this year's Film Club t-shirt, which I have already ordered. So make sure you check that out as well. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. Our normal show every Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, pro wrestling. So until next Thursday, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed. Brittany Palmer did a new photo set for Valentine's Day. Very nicely done.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.